Welcome back to Talk 21, and we're here with my co-host Sam Genova, and I'm David Vitti from Century 21 Fine Living.
We are doing this episode is based on
Stupid questions?
stupid questions,
Or is there?
or is there a stupid question?
Are there stupid questions? Let's find out. Let's
Yeah.
find out.
So, one thing that people tend to ask, which some may say, it may be an obvious question that they shouldn't even ask. They say, so, what can you tell me about this house? Is that a stupid question? Because they should technically know all the information prior to seeing you guys.
No, absolutely, that's not a stupid question. There's a lot to know about individual properties. There's we could start from the age, how old are the windows, furnace. There's so many questions. That's not a stupid question.
I don't know. I think it's kind of stupid.
You think it's stupid?
A little bit. Like, I mean, we sent you the listing. You
Oh,
got
but
all
they
the
don't-
information. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, take a look at the information. But we should know what our clients want. And if it's not something that they didn't want, we wouldn't have showed you that anyway. Like, so anyway, it's
Good. So, we started off right.
I think mechanically it's impossible to find it on the internet, but that's
not
besides the point.
mechanically. We got to get in there, but like
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay, next. If somebody asks you, is the furniture for sale?
Oh my god, I hate
that's,
that question.
yeah,
I hate that question. I mean, we're selling houses. Furniture are not part of the deal. Let's get the property done, and
Yeah.
then if there's something to negotiate after the deal regarding furniture, we can talk about it after. I feel like it just makes it for like so much more painstaking when you're trying to negotiate furniture in a real estate transaction. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I agree. But you know what? Sometimes if you don't ask, you won't know. And sometimes they are willing to sell the furniture because it fits the spot perfect. People don't want to move it.
Yeah,
believe it
that's
or
true
not.
too.
People are like, take it. You want TV? You want the couch? You like
Yeah,
it fits the spot perfect?
brackets
I don't
on
want to
walls.
move it.
Because it would cost, what, upwards of $5,000 for a mover to move everything, all the big appliances.
Depending the size of the
appliances,
house.
usually appliances are always
Appliances
included.
stay,
We usually
yeah.
negotiate.
Couches and-
What is this,
Sometimes.
1970? They take the appliances?
Sometimes.
So, I'm first.
Unless it's a power sale.
My first house, I bought a TV, I bought a fridge, it was like almost $3,000. Couple months later, I decided to sell the house. I wanted the fridge.
Yeah, you could, but you could, but
Get rid of it.
you could, but the cost of the home and the appliances are almost like a part of the house. And I like almost encourage even like brackets and TVs on walls. They're obsolete after 6 months to a year anyway. Just leave the TVs and brackets sometimes because everybody. That's something that's more problematic. You got to mount them and.
Well, if you move it, you could damage it.
Yeah,
you
but
got to
then-
wrap it. You got to.
But then when it comes to furniture, like you look at a table, somebody might think it's worth $100, but to the homeowner it's worth like $10,000. So it's so hard. It's hard to put numbers on that stuff. The appliances are easy, like there's a model number, you can run it, and you can see what they were brand new, so on and so forth.
So you're saying don't ask me that question?
You could. I'd just rather you not.
Okay. Sam, is it a stupid question or is it maybe not a proper question to ask if they say, is there any asbestos in this house, termites, lead piping, or mold?
Good question.
I mean,
That's why you get a home inspector, right?
exactly. I'm the type of guy that will give you a little bit of advice, but I always tell people that's what a home inspector's for. That's what a mortgage broker's for. We're real estate agents. We take care of the property.
Yeah, I think
Anything beyond that, it's not my realm of work.
Yeah, it's not your realm of work, but if you're knowledgeable about a topic, you definitely bring some insight. But at the end of the day, like
How are you gonna know there's asbestos?
no, you have to look for it, right?
why
You have
that's
to
my
know,
point.
You have to find somebody to look for it. But you know people who can do that. And with regards to like knowing the age of the house, you can know if it has certain types of asbestos. Or when you look at a ceiling tile in an older home, you can assume that might have asbestos. But you obviously have to test this stuff. But the biggest thing is like for mold and moisture, you need to get a home inspector that has a thermal imaging camera. You need to have somebody do moisture readings. You need to go look up in attics because that's where mold is prevalent, and like in basements, just checking moisture levels in properties. And I would definitely encourage that, especially if you're buying an older home and you sniff it and you smell the like the mustiness. Then if you smell something, it might be there. Make sure you have the right inspector
So it's
to
not
do
a
that.
stupid question.
No, it's a great
Absolutely
question.
not,
That's a
no.
great question.
All right, now this one. Call it out as you hear it. What are the neighbors like?
Oh boy.
Sometimes I tell my clients that, before buying a property, sit outside the front of the house for like the evening rush and you can get to know your neighbors. You get to see. Ask questions. Ask your neighbor, what's the big deal? Say, look, I'm looking to buy this house. You know, what's the neighborhood? What's the demographics? You know, there's nothing wrong with that. I actually think it's a very important tool before you're spending your hard-earned money to have somebody. I had somebody that I spoke to today that said they moved into this house. It was their first home. They found out that their neighbors were a disaster, right? So it doesn't hurt. I don't think that's a bad question. I mean, and I tell my clients to do that because a lot of times it'll help them make the decision or make or break, right? So that's important.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're looking at the neighboring homes, you can see how they maintained. Is the lawn manicured? Do they have garbage around the property? Other than that, like, I'm not going to make comments about who's in the home. We don't know. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, you can make assumptions on your own. I mean, if you really want us to do an inquiry on who the owners on the neighboring properties, we can accommodate also. But with that all being said, it's you'll never be able to pick your neighbor. They may move out in 6 months and you get another neighbor. So really, you got to like the home. You got to look at the general area and get familiar with the schools in the area because that's a big factor too. Based on what kind of schools and then so on and so forth, they may be good factors in determining what type of people are in the community you're looking to move in.
All right, ready? Another one. Stupid or not? You guys tell me. Is there anything wrong with the house?
Oh boy, back to the same thing.
By the way, these are all questions we get all the time.
Yeah, of course.
So
they're not stupid, but at the end of the day, that's
How do
why.
you even answer it? Because as a
Yeah,
realtor,
it's
you're
really,
trying to sell the house.
it's really broad question. Like, is it a good house? I mean, the area is a big factor. If the area is a good area, then the house could always be fixed. Like, even if there is some deficiencies, no home's perfect. So you got to make sure you get familiar with what the deficiencies are because there's no perfect home, and then you can determine whether it's a good home or not. So is it a stupid question? It's not really a stupid question because we're going to get you the answers, and you won't. It's the question came too early. Well, let's find out about the house, and then you wouldn't have to ask that
Yeah.
question.
Sam, is it a stupid question to ask if this house is staged?
it's the number one question we always get. It's not a stupid question. A lot of the times, being in the industry as long as we both have been, when you walk into a property, you kind of know whether it's staged or not. But there are times where
People
people actually live really tidy. If they have kids, it's staged because that's impossible.
But like, I mean, the tall tales. If you walk into a family room and there's no TV in the family room, it's probably staged.
It's probably staged.
If you open the fridge and there's no,
I was gonna say,
food
number
in
one thing, open the fridge.
If there's no food in the fridge, it's obviously staged.
Yeah.
So I mean, at the end of the day, even people have a good sense of style and they do set up their homes really nicely.
So we can always try to get the answers. Whether we get enough detail or not, we'll pass the information along to
And
our
then
buyers.
then you can base a decision on that.
Yeah.
And last one, Sam, is it a stupid question for people to ask where to find you?
Absolutely not. You can follow us at Sam Genova Real Estate on Instagram.
And C21 Fine Living Realty. But our phones are always on. Text message, 416-561-2660.
416-985-2633. And if you like what you're seeing, follow us on all the socials, Instagram,
Spotify.
Spotify, and YouTube.
We'll see you next time.
See you on the next one.
Thanks. Thank you.